Good afternoon, guys. Now, some of you were expressing, well, when I look at these graphs, this is what we're going to do first, okay? When I look at these graphs, I don't know whether to do this or this. Okay, now I'm going to emphasize that then today. We do need to get the lines graphed. So I'm going to go through these problems here first and decide what I'm going to do. So you need to circle your equals. And you have y and x both in here. Now, are they on the same side or are they on different sides? They're on different sides. So if the y and the x are on different sides, we want to use slope and y-intercept. Okay? And I'll figure that out. I'm coming back because you need to get the lines down. Now here, circle the equals. Are the x and the y on the same side of that equals, or are they on different sides? This time they're on the same side. So when they're on the same side, we need to use this, the x and y intercept table. Okay, now I'm going to keep going here. Okay, so, well, there is no x, so I'm going to make myself a little note that there's no x, okay? There's only y. Okay, so right here, x and y, are they on the same side or are they on different sides? They're on the same. Here's x and y together on the same side. So again, I need to go with the 0 and 0 table. Okay, next one, 4x minus 2y equals 16. Here's the equals. They're again on the same side. So I need to go with this. Okay. Okay, where are they at here? They're on different sides. Y is here, x is here. So if they're on different sides, we're going to use the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, and then this one right here. Here's the equals. Well, there's no y. I only have x, so only x with no y. Okay? And here they're on opposite sides. Okay, so y and x. So again, I don't want to use a table. I want to use slope and y-intercept. So that's how you're going to know what technique you're going to use to graph the line. Okay, now turn back to the very front page, and now let's get these lines graphed. So the slope for this line would be 1 over 3, and then negative 5 would be my y-intercept. So I need to first plot this right here. So that's going down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The y-intercept's always either up or down. Okay, then the 1's positive, so since it's positive, we go up with that, and then I'm going to go 3 to the right from the first point I already have down. Okay, so from this point here, I go up 1 and right 3. Okay, and there I have it. Okay, my next problem. I know I'm using this, so when I have this table, I need to write that equation down twice. So we should make that 3 a plus negative. So I write 2x plus negative 3y equals 12, and then do it again because I have two things I need to find. So on this table, if I have an x of 0, I can get rid of 2x. And then to solve for the y, we can dot it and circle it, and then divide both sides by negative 3. And 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. So here I have the y at 0, so I get rid of the negative 3y. And then to solve for the x, 2 times x equals 12. So to find x, I just divide both sides by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, now to graph these. These go together and these go together. This means stay, and this means go down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But don't go from here. When you're doing this table, you have to go back to the middle. And this means right 6 and stay at 0. But we can't do it from here. It's not like a slope. Okay? The slope you go from your first point, but on this table, you need to go back to the middle before you do this one here. You're going to go right 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and stay. Okay? All right, and there's that line. They kind of look like the same line, okay? Kind of, not exact. Okay, so the next one, y equals 2, there was no x, there was only a y. So on this only thing, what you want to do is make a table. And the one that you don't have any of, you don't have any x, so you just put 1, 2, 3 under x. If you don't have any of that letter, you put 1, 2, 3 under it. And if I only have y is always 2. So everywhere on this table, I need to put 2's. Okay, so I go right and up, right and up, right and up. Okay, so I go right 1 up 2. I go right 2 up 2. And then I go right 3 up 2. And it's going to be a straight line that goes horizontally, okay? Okay, the next one, again, when I see this table, because x and y were on the same side together, I need to write it down twice so I can solve for each letter. So make that 6 plus negative, and 3x plus negative 6y equals negative 24, and then do it again. So I know that if I have an x of 0, we can cross out, I don't have any x's, so I dot, and then divide by negative 6, and negative 24 divided by negative 6 is 4. And then if I have y at 0, scribble that out, dot your 3x, circle it, and then divide by 3. Negative 24 divided by 3 is negative 8. So we graph these and these. So that means stay and go up, and this means go to the left and then stay. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go left 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and stay. Okay. That is how it's done. Okay, next one, 4x minus 2y equals 16. So again, I have the x and the y on the same side, so that's why I'm using this way. It works the best. So make the minus 2 plus negative 2. So 4x plus negative 2y equals 16, and then this again. Okay, so if I know x is 0, we're not going to have any x's. And then I dot my negative 2y, and then I divide by negative 2. And 16 divided by negative 2 is negative 8. Okay, now if the y is 0 here, we can eliminate the y from the equation. Dot your x, and you just divide. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. Okay, so 0, negative 8, and 4, 0. So I stay. And then the y means up or down, I'll go down. The x means left or right, I'll go right 4 and stay. Okay? So I stay and go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 4, 0, you go back to the middle. You don't go from this point, okay? You go right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I know my graph sucks, kind of, and stay. Just go about where you think it is. Okay, now this one again, we had the y and the x on different sides, so I want to use the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope's 5, but a slope always has to be a fraction, and if 5's not a fraction, we can solve that problem by putting a 1 underneath it. And the y-intercept's going to be our negative 3. So again, we go down to our y-intercept, so 1, 2, 3. I know that line, that's where it crosses the y-axis. And then 5's positive, so I go up 5 and then 1 to the right. And that's from this point here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 1, and now I have my 2 points. Again, when you use slope y-intercept, you're going to get 1 point on this line, then the other point's out in the space somewhere. Okay, and then when we're using this technique here, we're going to have 1 point on this line, but then the other point's going to be on the other line. That's why it's called the x and y intercept. Okay, this one we decided there was only x, there was no y at all. So the letter that I have none of, the y, that can be just 1, 2, and 3. I pick 1, 2, 3 because they're the easiest numbers. And then the x needs to be constantly. If x is the only thing I have, that has to be -3. Every x has to be -3. So -3, 1. I go left and up. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 up 1. -3, 2. I go left and up 2. So 1, 2, 3 up 2. -3, 3. I go left 3, up 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now this one we decided since we had both y and x, they were on opposite sides, so the slope y-intercept's the way to go, so the slope is going to be 4, but it needs to be a fraction, so we put a 1 under it. And our y-intercept is -3. So I graph the y-intercept first by just going down 3. And then the 4 is positive, so I go up and 1 to the right. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. And that's good enough. Okay, now pause the video and do that part of the assignment. You have 4 of them, remember. Y and x are on opposite sides. Y and x are on the same side. There is no x, there is only y. And then y and x are on opposite sides. Okay, now you need to help me out in the other packet if you want this to be easy, because I forgot to put it. This is something new. It's not that hard. Calculate the domain and range of the equation. Not really, you're not even going to really write an equation. What you need to do is just write an equation for the situation, okay? It says I'm 200 miles from home. Each hour I'll be traveling 50 miles toward home. I want you to put a down arrow here, and I'll do that for you. I forgot. Down means if I'm keeping track of the miles, they are getting smaller because I'm headed home. And we are going to go back through this, okay? I have $700 in my bank account. Each month I will be spending $100. So again, if I'm keeping track of the money, I'm spending it, so the money would be going down. I have $50. Each week I will earn $5 more. So if I'm keeping track of the money's going to be going up, because when I save it, I earn more of it. A racetrack charges a $60 registration amount, and then each race costs $6, okay? Now, if I'm keeping track of the money, it's only going to go up, okay? Now, number 1, I have $10 to spend on Gatorade. Each bottle of Gatorade will cost $2. So if I'm keeping track of my money, the money that I have in my pocket, that's only going to go down because I'm spending it. And then a town has 1,000 people. Each month we have 100 more people move in. So if I'm keeping track of the number of people are going to get higher. Okay? Now, here's what I want done on this assignment. So, I read that through. You need to set up an XY table and then put the label from the problem that each represents. X is hours. If I have time, that always needs to be X, and Y is miles. Now, what do we do from there? You're always going to start with a 0 here. So how many miles do we have at the beginning of the problem? We have 200. And then I would go from 0 hour to 1 hour. Well, remember, we're going down. So every time we go up by an hour, we subtract 50. It goes down by 50. So you take 200 minus 50. And that's 150. And then at 2 hours, I'd go down 50 more, so that would go to 100. After 3 hours, I go down 50 more. So now there's 50 miles between me and my house. And then 4 hours, I go down 50 more, but that takes me to 0. Okay, so I can stop with the table as soon as I can get to 0, or recognize that I will never get to 0, as you'll see later on. So table's done. Now here's how you find a domain. The domain is your x. What's the smallest number you have here? 0. Put that here. What's the largest number you have? 4. So that's your domain. It's between 0 hours and 4 hours that I'm driving. What's the smallest number you have here? 0. What's the largest number you have? 200. So that means the miles are from 0 to 200 the whole way. Okay, the next one. I have $700 in my bank account. Each month I will be spending $100. Remember, we put a down arrow so we know it's going down. So X and Y. So X is our months and Y is our money. And the X is our independent variable. It always starts at 0. Now, how much money did we have at the beginning? That's 700. So after 1 month, what happened? Well, we went down. How much did I go down by? 100. So I go down 100, and that's 600. Go down another 100, we're at 500. Go down another 100, we're at 400. Another 100's 300. Another 100's 200. Another 100's going to be 100. Now 7, and if I go down 100 again, I'm at 0, so stop. So when I look at this group of numbers, the lowest value is 0. And the highest value is 7. Now, look at this group of numbers. What's your lowest? 0. What's your highest? 700. Okay. Now, I have $50. Each week I will earn $5 more. This time we're going up. Okay. So X is weeks. We need to call X the weeks, and Y is our money. Okay, so how much money did I have to begin with? We had $50. So we started at 50. After 1 week, remember, I'm going up though. Okay, I'm going up. So if I'm going up, then that goes from 50, and then we add 5, so 55. After 2 weeks, I go up 5 again, that's 60. After 3 weeks, I go up again, that's 65. Now, as you know, as you can see, I'm never going to get to 0 because I'm just going to keep going up. So if I'm going up, I want you, if you realize that you'll never get to 0, you make these little dots, they're called continuation dots, and you write INF. That means this goes on forever. It could go on forever. And the same thing here, INF. Infinity is what it stands for, infinity. So look at that. What's the lowest number you have? 0. The highest number I have, I don't know. It's infinite. So I write INF. Okay, what's the lowest number you have? 50. Not 0. We never had 0. What's the highest number you had? I don't know. It's infinite. So INF. Okay, next one. A racetrack charges a $60 registration amount. Each race will cost $20. So this is going up again. So we got to remember that. So at 0, and by the way, X is races. I know there's no time unit, so instead of time, X is going to be whatever we're paying money for, which in this instance is races. then money. So we started off with $60. And by the way, I pay the $60 before there are any races. Then at one race, I add 20. So that's 80. I add 20. That's 100. I add 20, that's 120, and then by this point I realize I'm never going to be able to stop the table because I'm never going to hit 0. So again, we do our 3 dots with the INF. Same thing here, 3 dots, INF, because if something's going down, it can stop at 0, but if something's going up, I don't know, have no idea when it's going to stop. Okay, so lowest number of races I had is 0. And then the highest number is infinite, so INF. The lowest amount of money I have is 60. The highest amount I don't know, it's infinite, so INF. Okay, let me know if you're having any problems with that. They don't take long to show.